Previously on Dungeonbreaker.
So I obviously saw my other disguised paladin get down on all fours and sprint off like a cheetah towards the battle. So I sort of like look over my shoulder and see what's going on, and then just see Amelia just sort of like bolting up, and he's just like, right then. I'm gonna cast minor illusion, so it looks like the badge is sort of rolling down, and then I'm gonna pat him on the back, sort of like thoroughly, and say, "Yes, we're becoming quite good friends, aren't we?" And then, oh, my good friend, I'm so sorry, your badge. Look as it falls on the floor. Ah!
So the paladin's kind of, oh, and then you just hear, whoa!
Palladium Deus sort of like runs up and gets on his knees and says, bravo!
You turn into a giant caterpillar, and you sort of, Tim the Goblin kind of like hunches up and crawls over the floor. And then just kind of lays down across this guy's face. So it looks like he's got this absolutely enormous walrus moustache.
Morvos has had quite enough of this absolute shenanigans. Cisco, come here and eat this fool.
Cisco kind of very calmly just digs a claw out and just sort of unzips the torso of this paladin. That was unexpected. What was the plan there exactly?
Morboss has a quick chunder in the corner, out of sight, behind the boxes maybe.
The smell in this room right now
And then,
gotta be bad.
And then returns, kind of looking, having composed himself, and he goes, "Well, it took one of us to get the armor. Looks at Mist, who is obviously already disguised as a paladin of sorts. Looks at Tim, who the armor is clearly not big enough for. And just kind of willfully... sorry, the armor's too big for Tim.
It's not big enough for Tim!
Willfully resigns himself to the fact that now he has to wear this gore-splattered armor, and kind of just like gingerly picks it up with one hand while just... and slots it over his tiefling horns and whatnot.
Incredible.
You're welcome.
It is warm in there. It is also it was strangely humid in there, and you're like, oh wow, this is what it feels like to wear the armor of a dead man shortly after he passes. How funny that the only one of the party with prestidigitation is not in this bit, but is instead enjoying a drink while a Kenku paladin roars, brother! Indeed. From outside the ship, you hear... like those of you in the ship rather hear this growing hubbub inside of it as other paladins on platforms drop and are like roaring at the injustice of it, or praying, or banging their weapons on their shields as like a sign of respect for their fallen brother, who fell to such a clumsy mishap. Really was quite clumsy. But Amelia basically says, right, well, I'm assuming Cisco's going to make short work of this one, so I'll tell you what, I'll open up the ship again, and then maybe we can get on with delivering these old crates.
Tim's going to turn to Cisco and say, "What have I told you about playing nice?"
He chitters and does not stop eating.
I'd like to drop to my knees and be like, brother! get in on that action.
Cool. God, I feel like this is the Pokemon movie right now.
As there's like multiple people sort of gather around and upset, Fizz sort of stands up. I'm going to cast my illusion on my face to make it look like I'm crying manly tears. And he sort of spins around and he says, "Did anyone know this man's name?"
One of the paladins above you peers into the abyss and says, "'Tis too far to tell. What was his name?" And then you hear another paladin below go, "What was his name?" And it goes down, like down, like, "What was his name? What was his name?" And then there's a pause. And if you look, you sort of see there is a sort of tiny metal speck on the very bottom of this cavernous sort of dock area. And then you see another speck walk over, kind of bend and watch, and then you hear blah, 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 and coming up, you hear Fulvius Menius.
Fulvius, I knew him well.
You hear the paladin on the nearest platform goes, "What?"
Don't ignore that. There are more pressing matters. Just as we were walking next to this dangerous platform edge, he confided in me a deep secret. A deep secret that was meant only for Justinian's ears. I must see him. I must see him quickly now.
Okay. You hear a distant voice say, "Report to the quartermaster! Report to the court!" And they start kind of going off. It's paladins in certain orders and under certain circumstances just basically turn into a flock of birds, like all minor birds, and the slightest thing can set them off. Indeed, you see sort of a paladin foreman standing there rubbing his brow, being like, "Oh, it's going to take hours to get this lot to quiet down and get back to work." But anyway, yeah, back inside the ship, you now have Morboss disguised as a paladin who has maybe been decorating a room in crimson. Cisco has nearly finished his meal and is starting to get sleepy and will go and have a nap. Amelia has reopened the gangway to the ship. And she points at some, basically, there are some crates in the corner. And they do, and sure enough, they're like wine crates because, I mean, you've been on this airship for a couple of hours. Like, adventurers, they get through the booze quite quickly. So it should be quite simple for you to just pick up a crate, and if you want to carry on the ruse that you're delivering fine wines from Valinar, then you may.
Quick thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that Tim has noticed that Mist's breastplate has it's not as strong as it maybe used to be.
You burst through it.
Yeah. And the structural integrity is perhaps not capable of holding Tim safely in anymore.
Yeah.
So he's going to look at one of the crates and he's going to say, "I've got an idea." He's going to go and he's going to bust 2 eye holes in the crate and 2 holes beneath it. Before he does that, he's going to open the crate and just toss all the wine out of it.
Okay.
Like, smashing it. Just, like, pick it up, go, "Don't need that, don't need that."
You hear a slightly irritated Amelia go, "And that, Tim the Goblin, is also why we have dark red carpets in this room."
And then Tim is going to get into the crate through one side, pull it closed, and then pop his feet through the holes at the bottom. He's also going to make 2 holes at the top for the tips of his ears to poke through.
Okay. So you see a wine crate just kind of stand up and sort of, whoa, like drunkenly teeter about for a bit as Tim gets used to being in a crate. And now you've got a walking, talking wine crate.
Yeah, I'm just going to pick up like 2 crates and
Okay.
be like ready to go wherever we need to go.
Yeah, they cover the hole in your breastplate. So from, at first glance, it's you seem just like a normal paladin again. Amelia sort of finishes looking quizzically at this walking wine box. It's like, right, well, shall we? And she loads up a couple herself.
Eric also has mend, so I mean, where is Eric when you need him?
Yeah, Eric is.
Eric's definitely passed out drunk by now. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I tell you what. Yeah, because I don't want to spend too long in control of someone else's player character. We'll say that Eric goes, "I've run out of booze," and says, "Come and get me later when things are further along." And Eric will return to the ship, fix himself a drink, and sit down in the armchair. However.
Maybe he sees how much wine Tim is throwing out of his crate and wants to go and rescue it.
Just starts drinking the carpet.
Catching it, yeah.
It's almost like he doesn't. He sort of hears the distant sound of smashing glass. It's like, my people need me. So he goes to rescue and indeed enjoy some of the fine wines that are on the ship. He is slightly chagrined that you've smashed up quite so many bottles of wine. So I think it's safe to say he's not overly interested in casting prestidigitation or mending right now.
Was the paladin that Morboss is now dressed as, were they wearing a helmet?
No, they weren't.
Are there many
That would have made the caterpillar difficult.
Well, true, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. So, is this going to be a dead giveaway if I'm a tiefling dressed as a paladin of the Church of the Silver Flame?
It is not out of the realm of possibility that the Church of the Silver Flame has a tiefling in its ranks. In fact, I think you'd be seen as some kind of...
like a double agent.
Well, I think actually you'd be seen as... well, more of like a not just a novelty, but like sort of a good get. You know, it's like, wow, we've got a tiefling. Because, of course, you know, everyone knows that tieflings, even though they're not evil, like at some point in their lineage, they are demon-born. Or at least there are demons involved. So, yeah, I think actually you'd be a feather in the cap of a paladin order.
Okay, we're not out yet, but I would say that as Morboss is walking around, if he's getting looks that suggest this, he's absolutely lapping it up. He's just like, yes, yes, finally, the respect I deserve. If Mist is... Are you carrying 2 crates of wine, Mist? Morboss picks up 3. He struggles with the 3rd, but refuses to give that away. Is just kind of shaking slightly as he picks them up, but absolutely would prefer to just be physically in ruin than have anyone suggest that he's weaker than a damn moggy.
Yeah, strength check, please, Morboss. You've just got to beat a 5 for now.
Oh, good. Well, I've rolled so well so far. So just straight strength. I rolled a 16. That's the first thing I've rolled above like a 3.
Wow. Tremendous. For now, you're carrying the crates fine. So...
Tim is walking behind.
In the
as the crate.
Okay. I'm going to be making a lot of perception checks in this continuing session, aren't I? Brother Palladius DM, you look back down the walkway, sort of, you're calming down your performative wailing now, and
says you.
Okay. While it is your choice whether or not to wind down your performative wailing, the various foremen of the dock are trying to restore order and get the paladins back to work. So in this sort of the gathering quiet, you see your companions, including Amelia, wandering along with a bunch of crates, and indeed one crate wandering along. They rejoin you on the walkway, and Amelia kind of like smiles. It's like, "Good day. How did you get rid of the other one?"
Yes, I see you fine people are also after Justinian the Wise. I have a dire message I must report to him of my fallen brother, my greatest ally, my strongest friend.
Oh, that's such a shame. However, yes, perhaps we should go together, because we need to bring Justinian the Wise.
Ah.
I am not in the mood for jokes.
Amelia cracks a wry smile and is like, sorry.
Let us find the Quartermaster.
Okay. So it's not difficult to find your way to the Quartermaster's office. You emerge from this large sort of enclosed dock area. There's a moment where you all sort of jump as you go through the doorway, as you hear another bang, and the cannons outside of the city are brought to bear on another unsuspecting soul who is, suffice to say, being blown to oblivion. But yeah, there are basically plenty of signs. But as you emerge into the cathedral proper, it actually starts to look and feel like a cathedral rather than a weird port. So you're looking at very, very broad sort of corridors, which 8 people could walk shoulder to shoulder down it, and they would be perfectly comfortable. These are all very high vaulted, and you see little recesses. It's all very clever in the wall, whereby it's a common architectural trick in a church to have the only windows high up, so people can't see the direct light, the light seems ambient and therefore it seems ethereal. The same trick is being performed here, where on the sides where they can't actually have windows out into the open air, they have little niches with these kind of strange sort of alchemical globes that let off a soft light. So the whole place is lit very, very brightly, but very softly. And despite the danger of your mission, you do feel a certain sense of calm. Sorry, Tim.
Tim is going to instantly go for one of those globes.
Okay, they are very, very high up.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, sorry. No,
I thought they were on the floor.
No, the idea is that they're hidden from the line of sight when you're on the floor, so this place seems divinely lit.
Okay.
Towards the ground floor, like ground level rather, there are lots of like ornate fixtures and stuff, and there's lots and lots of silver. This is a very opulent surrounding. It's not threadbare by any stretch of the imagination. But yes, sadly, those globes, no.
You're definitely going to hear a lot of, oh my goodness, what beautiful architecture. The awning, so ornate.
So you continue to proceed down this corridor, and then coming the other way, you hear footsteps. And indeed, approaching you is a relatively young man in kind of priest robes. He's clearly an up-and-coming member of the clergy in this church. And you are following signs, by the way, to the Quartermaster's office.
Question.
Yes.
Do you look like the priest out of Fleabag or not?
No.
Okay. Carry on.
Good.
Just make sure you ask that about all the NPCs we meet.
So, is everyone acting nonchalant?
I'm acting mournful.
Okay. In that case, I'll have a charisma performance check out of you, please. Fizz, Morboss, I want you to make me a strength check. The DC is now 10. I require a dexterity stealth check from you, Tim the Goblin, because you're a walking, talking box. And
I rolled a 7, but I'm going to use my inspiration.
Okay.
Oh yeah, inspiration. I'm going to do.
I rolled a natural 20.
Oh!
Hey, that's a good use.
You see Morboss kind of go and transfer the crate to one hand, so like a waiter carrying a tray in a restaurant.
All three of them on a stack.
For just a split second, he convinces himself that he is strong.
Okay.
I rolled a 9 for my performance.
Okay. Can I have a charisma performance check from you as well, please, Fizz? Not Fizz. Your Fizz missed.
Charisma performance.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm a bard, so that's probably good. Let's see.
I rolled a 17, by the way.
Wow. Okay.
I got 12.
Okay. Great.
Tim the Goblin's enacting Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. Bonk. Not too insightful, this little clergy fellow. So, he barely gives you a passing glance. He's like, mm-hmm. In fact, he looks at you, Morboss, as you shift your crates of wine, and kind of gives you a deep bow.
Excellent. I was going to say,
Paladin, who is a tiefling, good get.
Before he gave me that respectful nod, Morboss started to reach for his mace, offended by the complete lack of regard given him. But as soon as the nod happens, he backs off.
Duly noted. All right. You make it to the Quartermaster's office. It is it's kind of like a big old warehouse in the back. There are crates and crates of stores. There is a counter with like a reinforced mesh, and then there's a little peephole where a man, presumably the Quartermaster, stands with his arms on the counter. He's got hands like boulders. His forearms are incredibly thick, and they are indeed covered in tattoos going all the way up. He has a freshly shaven pate, and he also has a big old beard that reaches right down to here, and is more salt than it is pepper now. This guy looks like a dock bruiser. You look at him, and simultaneously you are convinced that he is the Quartermaster, and confused as to how a man such as this could gain a position in such a strict religious order, because it's just obvious from his bearing. This is not a man of God. And he just looks at you and goes, "Hello."
I can't believe you put yourself into this game as a quartermaster, Johnny.
That's not me. It's not me. Based on
Johnny's
someone
a man
I know.
of God.
It's not me.
You hear Tim in his innate politeness to say, "Hello."
From the box.
He doesn't move his head, but his eyes go whoosh. Hang on, I'm looking at the camera. His eyes go whoosh, and lock straight on you, Tim the Goblin. He sees you, and he just cracks a wry smile. It's like, what have we here then?
Brother!
Does he do that whoa bit?
He does not. No.
Oh.
He says, "What have we here then?"
Brother, hi. Players DM puts a hand down on the desk to stable himself. Clearly you are a man of strength of body, but I ask you to be a man of strength of heart. Our brother, our noble brother, Fulvius Manius, has fallen to his death, and he asked me, his best friend, to give him his message to Justinian in the event of his passing. Also, these people here have a shipping, but it's important that we see Justinian as soon as possible.
All right. Calm down. Here, look. He points at you, Miss. He's like, "Look, there's a chair by the wall. Get him something to sit on. Come on."
I'm just no, I'll hold these. That's fine. Because I'm trying to cover the whole.
Oh yeah.
Display.
So, someone get him something to sit on.
Well, worry not, brother. It is not I who have fallen to my death.
Yeah. Shush. He disappears into the back for a moment, and then he comes out holding like what looks to be like an ornate religious reliquary, sort of a big silver thing. In fact, it's a statue of some form of saint or deity. And then he grabs the head and goes, and starts to spin it off. He reaches under the counter and gets an enamelled tin cup and pours out a sort of golden brown liquid that steams in the cup. He goes, "Sweet tea, best thing for shot. Go on, you get that down here. Come on."
Oh, thank you, brother. There is no alcohol in this, of course.
Well, no, it's tea.
Fantastic. I swore a sacred oath, you know.
Yeah, all right, Sunshine. Listen, I'm very sorry to hear about your friend, but frankly, that's not got a monkey's to do with me. I'm the Quartermaster. I see goods coming in, I see goods going out. If they've got a shipment, I can deal with that. But frankly, I don't care who you've got to tell about your friend's little mishap. No, thanks, of course.
Are you one of 4?
God's sake.
No, I've got an older sister, but what? Why do you ask?
So, if you're a quartermaster, who are the other 3 quarters looking after?
He sizes you up, sort of peers closely at you, and without looking, he gropes under the counter and pulls out another tin mug. Sort of just pours you a tea and slides it over. No, it's just a name of rank, mate. It's my position here. I'm Quartermaster. In the same way that your rank will be
Paladin.
Very good. Yes, Paladin. You are a Paladin. And your rank, he turns to Tim and goes, would be box, I guess.
Recently gained, yes.
Brother Quartermaster, now you see the advantageous position I've been put in after such strife. My good companions who I've just met here have this delivery to deliver to Justinian the Wise personally himself. And I have... Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Ugh. He reaches to the wall and pulls a lever and just goes, and the door behind you goes and slams shut. And he goes, "All right, what's the ruse? What's going on with the little thing in the box, eh? Come on.
Justinian has ordered it personally, as far as I'm aware, but I am just here to see him, of course.
Amelia kind of cocks an eyebrow at you, picks up the crate with Tim the Goblin in it, so his little legs are like dangling.
Oh.
Sits you on the counter and is like, dunk. Okay. We do have a delivery for Justinian the Wise. It's some wine. It was sent by another one of the cardinals. This bit's a practical joke. It's just he's going to pop out and sing happy birthday. It's the cardinal's birthday soon.
It is? Oh my goodness. I can't wait to celebrate with him.
The quartermaster leans over the box and goes, "It is not a good attempt, rather. But listen, I don't really care what stuff you're bringing in or what stuff you're getting out. That's above my pay grade. If the Cardinal's security want to keep him safe, then they'll try and keep him safe. As it is, I can take the wines, I can store them for you, I can give you a chit, and you can take them out. Same as any other paladin in the business. To see Justinian, that just ain't my business, mate. I cannot give you permission to do that. All I can do is hold your goods until you have gained the requisite permissions, and then you can go on from there."
At this point, can Tim peer out of the holes in the box?
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to say, "Oh, sir, I've been a fan of Justinian for so many years. My mother, she worshipped him, and blessed be her. Now she's no longer with me, and I really want to see him so bad. So if you could let me, I'd be all so grateful." Can I roll like persuasion?
Yeah.
Tim's not stupid. He's just,
Yeah.
you know. Okay. The only issue here is that he's got -1 charisma.
And he's in a
But,
box.
you know,
Yep.
that's 7.
I'm afraid I rolled considerably higher than that. He sort of leans down to the hole, so he's sort of giant in your face. He goes, "2 things, my little crate of wine. Number 1, if your mother worshipped Justinian, she was a heretic, and according to their doctrine, she'll be burning in hell. And second, all I'm doing is asking you to bribe me. Okay?"
Bribery? Perish the thought!
Keep your voice down. Jeez. Paladins. He tries to find a sympathetic face to be like, "Eh?" But he's like, he looks to me and it's like, "Eh?" She rolls her eyes.
I'm going to drop the 2 crates of wine, just like drop them right to the floor, and then like whip out a golden melon and be like, "Is this enough?"
Okay. The crates smash on the floor.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So like, there's a massive smashing noise as the golden melon is produced, and the quartermaster looks at the floor, at the growing puddle of wine, looks up and goes, "Well, yeah, I suppose now it also covers the cleanup. That'll do nicely, yeah." And he holds out a mitt. Do you give him the golden melon?
Yes, of course.
It looks like an orange in his hand. This is a big, imposing dude. He tells that to himself and he's like, "All right, that'll do nicely. Thank you very much." He sticks it under his counter.
Do you have any breastplates lying around also? And I point to the hole in my paper mache one.
Well, we haven't got any made of paper and glue, but yeah, let me see what I can do. He nips into the back and comes out with a breastplate, throws it over. Anyone else need anything?
At this point, Tim's going to burst out of the crate.
Okay.
And look at the guy and say, "I'm really sorry, I wasn't really telling the truth just then. I'm sure you'll forgive me." And he jumps into the breastplate, the new one, and like prepares to be papoosed.
Oh, okay. He sort of leans over and goes, "That ain't gonna fit you, mate. I can have a look in the back and see if there is one that will fit if you want one."
Would you?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Do you have a disguise for me?
Yeah, that's what I'm offering. I mean, I'm assuming you're not a paladin, being a goblin and all.
I mean, it's not on my list of things to do quite yet, but you know, I'm playing things fast and loose as far as I'm concerned.
Good for you, mate. Aim high, aim high. He moves behind a stack and then he leans back out and clicks his finger and points at Fizz and goes, "How about you, big man? Yours is an illusion."
Only if you can give me a friend, will I?
Listen, mate, I'm offering you an actual breastplate. If you stop blubbing, I'll give it to you.
Look, mate, if you've kind of figured out the illusion,
Coming up.
There's not really, no, there's really not much under here that will fit a breastplate anyway. Don't worry about it. I'll keep the illusion going if that's all right.
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, fine. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know how many other people are going to see through it, but it's your choice. Your choice, brother. He goes into the back and, yes, he rummages up. He has to take it out of like some packaging that indicates that it is clearly like a child's toy. But he pulls out some Tim the Goblin-sized authentic paladin armor. He also has a breastplate that fits yours perfectly. Morboss, you're wearing regular stuff anyway, so it doesn't need to.
I pull a little bit of just like tattered flesh from it and
just add it to the pile of smashed stuff in the room. And he goes, "Right, well, you've smashed up half of it, but will you be wanting to store your crates here with me, or you're just going to keep them on your person?"
Well, as far as I'm aware, we're supposed to be delivering to Justinian, aren't we? Isn't that part of the plan? I mean, with the delivery that we're doing?
Yes, that would be on your schedule, I imagine. But what I'm saying is, you need to get particular permits to go see Justinian. You could leave the stuff here if you want, so you don't have to lug it around. He sort of looks at Morboss's arms and sort of raises an eyebrow, because things can get heavy. I could just hold it
what
here.
You mean.
All right, mate. I was just saying I could hold it here until you have an appointment.
That would be great. But I hold it for just a few more seconds than is necessary. And as I hand it across, obviously we've given this quartermaster a golden melon.
Yeah.
So I'd like Morboss to, not in a way that would incite a fight, but I want Morboss just to try and, like a cat standing on its legs and bigging up, as he hands across these crates, just kind of flex a little bit, or attempt to flex, just in terms of trying to size up to this incredibly large man.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Make me a charisma, I guess, intimidation check.
I got 8.
He indulges you, in fairness.
Great.
He sort of smiles like you're a favourite nephew. And he goes, he sells it a bit when he takes the crates off you. He goes, "Oof, heavier than I thought." And he takes them. No. I mean, you're in disguise, mate, aren't you?
He's Morbus Gloombringer.
No. Shush. Morboss flinches towards the mace and then realises just how big this guy is and just, forget about it.
I'm going to be very sad when the guards inevitably catch and murder all of you. I just want you to know that now. Anyway.
And I'm going to go over and hug him and be like, "I like you too."
Yeah.
Imagine she comes up to his waist. Yeah.
Well, Tabaxis are quite tall, but it's still a head-on pack sort of territory, because this guy is very large. Amelia similarly hands over the crates. He stashes them in the back. He pulls out a ledger, and opens it and goes to write something in, and then he kind of goes, closes it. He bends down, you hear a loose floorboard go, and he pulls out a different ledger, which is considerably more tatty looking, and he writes things down in that. And he puts that back in, and he gives you a little chit. And he's like, right, I mean, I seriously doubt I shall forget your faces or your bearing, but just in case, there is a chit for your wares. Right, now go do whatever nefarious thing it is in the building that you were planning. Hey.
Thank you for the wonderful suit.
That's all right. Thank you for the entertainment and for the golden melon. It is boring around here, and the pay is bad.
Where do we actually get an appointment, by the way?
Oh, that. Well, you'll want to go see the Cardinal's personal secretary.
Right. And that they're obviously, they are, where are they?
Oh, mate, come on. Do I have to do everything for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, you've offered, so.
Oh, I haven't. They're 3 levels up.
Got it. Right.
What was your name, by the way?
R-Cup.
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 I'll call you R.
Tim's gonna start walking out. Go to walk out the door.
More boss is like, you'd best not forget this face, but very quickly exits.
Accidentally gets a bit of tail stuck in the door. And
yeah, he swings the lever so the door opens as you go past. You leave to the sound of like indulgent chuckling in the slurp of hot tea. It's just like.
So presumably Tim is wearing a helmet.
Yes, like the you were lucky enough to get the deluxe child's Paladin costume pack, so it comes with a little helmet.
Squishing his ears in.
Oh no, these are kind of the Cathedral of the Silver Flame. Their helmets are kind of like they're almost winged up here, like the eye slits. They start under here, but then they kind of go up. Almost like wing-tipped eyeliner. So if you were to, as you put it on, pull your ears forward, you could then sort of like pull them back. So they're kind of like that, poking out.
Okay, great.
Anyone else who wants a helmet can have one, should they desire one.
So now Tim just looks like a very, very short paladin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Indeed, as you sort of you exit the quartermaster's office, and you hear 2 sort of aging scholars go past, and one says to the other, admission standards really are slipping these days, his counterpart. She says, I know. Look how short that one is.
I hope you have a good day.
I'm going to be like, I'm not sure.
They look at you as if like, ugh, they spoke to us.
Can I use...
move on.
Sorry, can I use thaumaturgy?
Yeah.
To just alter the appearance of my eyes for 1 minute. So I just want to flash kind of fire red eyes at them to hurry them on their way and grumble a bit.
Yeah, that works. They kind of go, oh, how hideous. And their slippered feet kind of pad down the corridor quickly enough. So you are basically in quite a labyrinthine level of the cathedral, where this is where all the people who arrive in their zeppelins come in. So you've got the quartermaster's office, you've got a lot of sort of stowage and lots of clerical work. As people kind of come in and have to sign in and all that kind of stuff. This is very much an administrative floor, so you want to go up. Well, you know that you need to go up 3 levels.
Let's do that.
Okay. So, hang on.
Tim is having to pull himself up every step, I imagine.
Yeah. It's like... So there are guards at the stairs, but you are not challenged. In fact, they sort of just they part their halberds and let you go through as if it is to be entirely expected that you would be going up to the next level. The staircase has very broad spiral stairs. So indeed, Tim is kind of having to go like, oof, and then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps coming up again. I'm going to retcon something. I'm going to say that Amelia has got herself a paladin uniform as well.
Okay.
So eventually Amelia sort of leans down and goes, Tim, do you want a hand?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Oh, you want to help me? Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like you're struggling with the stairs a bit, Tim.
Oh, yes, the stairs. I mean, they are quite large, aren't they? I'll go on then.
Come on then. She picks you up and she basically bundles you under her arm like a football. And you emerge up the stairs. And you emerge onto basically what is clearly the level for all of the paladins who call the Cathedral of the Silver Flame their own. You emerge onto a massive mess hall where there are rows and rows and rows of tables, and there are sort of serving people with big bubbling vats of stew, and there are heels of bread and roasted capons. There are no capons. There are apples, however, blah, 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 blah. And it seems like the paladins who are off shift are here enjoying a meal. Others are bustling to and fro, and there are a number of exits to this massive room. There are about 12 of them, with people coming and going, and yeah, it seems like you have basically inserted yourself into the whirling machine that is the paladin life in the cathedral, and now you must navigate it without raising the alarm.
I would like to sort of stand on some kind of platform so that more people can see me. And is there like a drink that I can grab from somewhere?
Yeah, there is a flagon of there are flagons of very, very watered down ale for paladins who are off duty.
Okay, so I pick one up and I raise it in the air and I say, brothers, I would like to raise a toast to Fulvius Menius, my best friend, who today perished in a tragic barge off of the edge of a cliff accident. Please, raise your glasses in his honor.
That will be a charisma performance check.
That's a 5.
From the back of the room, you hear someone go, "Shut up! I'm eating."
Thank you.
And another one goes, "If he fell off a walkway, he damn well deserved it." Another man pushes back from the table and goes, "God's sake!" Walks over to a particular spot on the wall, which is covered in notches. And he reaches down where at the floor there is a chisel, and he gets a hammer out and just goes ting 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 ting, and starts hammering a fresh notch in there. He gives you a sour look because his bowl of stew is going to be cold by the time he finishes with this.
Is there another bit where it says days without incident that was only on 1 and has now been turned to 0?
They stopped updating that a long time ago, in fairness. So yeah, needless to say, that doesn't work. Amelia, sort of standing there, goes, kind of crowds everyone else in. It's like, quick. Is anyone else hungry?
Oh yeah, big time.
I could eat.
Yeah, I could eat. I mean, I've had some mushrooms stored away, but you know what? I fancy something a bit different.
Okay.
Any ham?
We're in the mess hall. There's stew. Let's just sit for a bit, have something to eat, and work out our next move, yeah?
Who's stew?
Okay, follow me. Amelia Boulder's brass goes up to the counter, and indeed it's kind of like, you just hold up a wooden bowl, and a disinterested man in a uniform just goes bleh and slops a stew into it. And you can pick up a hunk of bread and a flagon of watered down ale, and everyone can sit down. We will call this a short rest. It takes quite a long time for the stew to cool down. It's very nice, by the way. It's kind of...
Oh,
it's not a special... No, he's just nice. The meal you enjoy has, like it's a very rich gravy, and it's got potatoes and all sorts of vegetables in it, and some kind of meat that's particular to this
Tim
world.
Won't eat the meat. He doesn't eat meat.
Okay.
Morboss spoons it out of Tim's bowl, seeing that he's hesitating. Just goes straight ahead, but gives a couple of potatoes back across.
Oh.
Tim goes, "Oh, thank you."
Don't mention it. Please, don't mention it.
Honestly, if you mention it to anyone, I'll be very upset.
Okay, so could everyone who wants to try and get the lay of the land on this floor of the tower make me a wisdom perception check, please? I will also accept investigation.
15.
Nice.
I rolled 15.
I rolled 17.
Misty, are you
18. I said it.
Oh, 18. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Wow, everyone has done very, very well. In that case, you can tell that sort of you've got this. You're sat at this table, and then you've got these 12 exits arrayed around you. 5 of them, you reckon, lead off to barracks, because you either see people coming in looking fresh-faced and going straight across to one of the other corridors, or sometimes some people instead will sort of stop off and they'll help themselves to fruit and coffee and sort of sit down. Or you'll see people wearily push back from the table. They'll maybe take another tankard of ale and they will sort of totter off that way. You reckon that is where everyone is being stationed. That's their barracks. And then the other sort of entrances, you can see them kind of sloping up or down. It seems like the Paladins sort of have, while that main staircase is a useful thoroughfare to the mess hall, the Paladins also have a series of sort of like ramps that curl up and around the tower and allow them to sort of go to where they are stationed without having to go onto the cathedral floors proper and navigate the sort of labyrinthine corridors. You're not entirely sure which corridor you need to go down, but you've eliminated 5 of the 12, and you're starting to get a feel for how this building works.
Can I just stop someone that's walking by me?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it we're looking for again? We're looking how to get to the next floor, or?
Well, you need to. The cardinals are 3 levels up. You need to see the cardinal's personal secretary.
Okay. Can I just, as somebody's walking past, just be like, "Excuse me," and then just ask them for directions to it?
Excuse me,
Sure.
Are you hearing this lovely jazz trumpet?
You stop a half-orc paladin. Why not? She turns to you and says, what is it?
How do we get to the Secretary of General's office?
The secretary... What? The Secretary of Generals?
And I kind of look at the other guys like, what was it again?
The Secretary of the Cardinals, wasn't it?
That one.
Oh, the Cardinal Secretary.
Yes.
Was her name Francesca? Francesca?
I don't know
What's
if Francesca...
happening?
I don't know of any Francesca. Are you?
We just need to see the Secretary for the Cardinal.
Which cardinal?
Sir, Justinian the Wise.
Oh, Justinian the Wise. Good luck.
Thank you.
Obviously, I mean, you know this as well as I do. If you've done more than one turn on guard duty, the cardinal secretaries spend half of the day downstairs in the general entrance to the Cathedral of the Silver Tower, hearing impassioned pleas from the clergy. And then they run them up to the cardinal, and the cardinal sees what affairs he'll interfere with. But Justinian the Wise's secretary hasn't been down there in about 9 months. He spends every shift just drinking and gambling with the Cardinal's elite personal guard.
Where?
Are you new?
Yes, we've just been posted here. We just want to find our way around, that's all.
Well, you're going to get your feet hauled over the fire if they see you just messing around in here. You're just lounging about in the mess. You're not going to get done in, you know.
We were just meeting Stu.
What? Look.
Tim
God.
turns to any of the other members of the group.
Flame, give me strength.
Look, we all want this conversation to just end, so would you just tell us and we can be on our way?
They're on the next floor up, but if they so much as see you, they'll probably knock you out for intruding rather than listen
Very
to what it is
well
you
then.
have to say.
Upstairs it
I
is.
give up.
Goodbye.
She walks off, and it's just like, bloody newcomers. And she goes off and she sits down at a table, and you think pretty quickly, actually, you should start making yourself scarce, because she's like, you'll never guess. Like, she's telling a bunch of people and pointing at you, being like, these idiots, blah, 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 blah.
I'm waving.
Is she drinking a bowl of soup?
Yeah, she's having some stew and she's having a flagon of ale.
Stew, that's it. Sorry, can I use thaumaturgy? So where it would cause harmless tremors in the ground for a minute, can I just make the soup basically like explode over her to distract her from talking to, to just cut the conversation about us short so there's no suspicion?
Stew.
Yeah, go on then. Everyone's attention in the mess hall is diverted as this bowl of stew goes. And there's some of it even on the vaulted ceiling, like it's a real shotgun blast of gravy. And she just sort of freezes in that like, what just happened kind of way. And you hear from the next table over, a paladin goes, and then goes, because you're starting to gather the idea that she's a bit of a hothead, and she's known to the other paladins. If you hadn't already worked this out from the way she dealt with you, you'd certainly have seen it from the way she launches herself from her bench straight over the other table, lands on the other paladin, and starts punching him in the face repeatedly.
Morboss holds the laugh that he was about to let out, having seen this, and quickly exits.
Okay, Amelia's shoulders are similarly like...
It started a brawl in the
they're
metal.
jouncing. Yeah, others are getting involved. It seems like there are certain factions within the Paladins, and the brouhaha is providing some of the less scrupulous ones an opportunity to settle some scores.
Before I leave, can I use thaumaturgy again to create an instantaneous sound from a point and just basically mimic a paladin's voice calling someone else something very offensive?
Yes, you can.
I'd like to do the same thing in a different voice with my minor illusion, so it sounds like two people are sort of like forming factions on the other side of the bar brawl.
Oh wow, it's all really kicking off in here.
So my thaumaturgy I think would be like, it wouldn't be in Morboss's voice, it'd be like, he says your soup is terrible. But it comes from across the other side of the room.
And then on the nearer side, you just hear, you shove your soup up your arse!
The seemingly docile man who was ladling out soup roars and flips the entire table. This table is about 30 foot long. It's like a repurposed old banqueting table. And as a tidal wave of stew goes across the floor, he is already running to the source of this insult about his cooking. And he just clotheslines this hulking paladin, whom he assumed to be the culprit. And it is now a full-on brawl in this room. There are upwards of 60 people just knocking lumps out of each other.
I'm imagining the cook swinging his ladle.
He actually he's drawn a ladle from his greasy apron and is just laying about people. It's like a cavalry charge. He's just.
I'd like to cast message on the paladin who we were talking to earlier, who then punched someone, and make it sound like someone's whispering in her ear. That chef just called you a nincompoop.
Oh boy. Okay. she gets up and she runs over and kind of tackles him around the midriff, gets her hands locked under his thighs and just sort of picks him up and keeps running, and then dumps him through a table.
I would now like to, and hopefully you guys are joining me, sprint up the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, more
Okay, so
you're
going up a ramp to the next level.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start to sprint up the one of the passages which sort of leads up, and as you go up, your footfalls start to be echoed from further up, and indeed you realise you hear the tramping of like a bunch of like bum, 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 bunch of boots on the stone, and there emerges 8 guards. Basically, these are paladins, but their armour is. So it somehow has greater presence than the normal stuff in the mess room. Like it's like their plate is, in fact, their plate is not gold. It is a very dark sort of dark metal that speaks to the efficacy of this armor rather than its symbolic weight. These are clearly these are a higher level of paladin, and they are being led by a captain who has a helmet tucked under his arm, and he runs down. He stops you all. He goes, like, he holds up a hand to his cohort, and he's like, whoa, where are you going?
Once again, the gang leaves a place in complete disarray and now find themselves face to face with some important-looking paladins. Will Morbus try to mace them in the face? Will Fizz try to charm them into submission? Or will Tim distract them with his ickle wiggly so cutie? Find out next week in the final installment of Great Expectations and see how the first season of Dungeonbreaker comes to its conclusion. In the meantime, why not hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any future episodes, and check out some of the other videos on screen now.